Meet the inspiring team transforming lives through rehabilitation. I'm Penny Lane, and In the Driver's Seat starts now. Welcome to In the Driver's Seat, where each episode we take you on a journey into the lives of industry trailblazers and entrepreneurs who've carved their own unique paths to success. In this episode, we get an exclusive with the team behind luxury rehab centre Hills and Ranges Private. And joining me now is Ed Handley and Raia Shyrinova. Hello, how are you?
Hey, very good.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
What's inspired you to create a luxury rehab facility in Victoria?
Great question. I think coming from a personal response, the lack of hospitality combined with rehabilitation was sorely missed, and I think the luxury element to it is more of a standard for us than anything. Would you agree?
Yeah, I believe that there was just such an evident gap between the demand that was there for people, from all walks of life, including, business owners or professional athletes. And unfortunately in Australia, there was nowhere for them to turn. And having faced kind of a struggle of finding a place to find sanity, we just decided that, someone has to fit that gap, and why not us?
Yeah, because when you do think of rehab, you can often think of white coats and doctors and locked in rooms. Tell us a little bit about Harp and what's different about, or what makes it luxury.
I think the word luxury is a little overused.
Yeah.
We like to think about it as a standard. Our philosophy around doing what we do is to elevate the standard of what rehab should be like. And I think many industries that have been established for 20, 30 years, they can kind of get stuck in that era, and that's what happened to rehabilitation. So our stigmatized view of a rehabilitation facility is like a single bed, no accessories, white walls, lab coats and isolation, whereas our approach to this was, why don't we create a space for the person to feel like they're at home, to feel like they can not be punished, but rather have an ability to thrive in their recovery. Because we know how challenging it might be for someone to commit to the program, and the first 7 days are the most crucial 7 days there are for someone to follow through with the process. And I believe that if the space and the surroundings are comfortable enough to kind of cruise through.
Yes, makes it a bit easier.
Absolutely.
So Ed, why did you choose the location in Olinda?
Yeah, beautiful location. Dandenong Ranges, 45 minutes from Melbourne. It's far enough but close enough for a lot of people. Like if you're from Melbourne, it's a beautiful place to get away from, but yet still close enough for a lot of people to be connected with their family members. I grew up in the foothills of the Dandenong Ranges, so it was somewhat coming back to home. It was very nostalgic for myself to be back in that space. It's beautiful, it has nature, it has hills. When we're trying to do something new and change the industry, when we're thinking about white walls, lab coats, hospital settings, why not think about the mind, body and soul at the same time? And the environment plays a massive factor
in that. Does nutrition and any other things help?
Huge,
yeah, absolutely. I think our program is incredibly balanced, with mind, body and soul, and a healthy mind lives in a healthy body. So through nutrition, we do help a lot of our clients to stabilize their moods, to sleep better, to move better. Obviously they have access to personal trainers and nutritionists and chefs, etc., but we're trying to set the foundation, not just with the mental work.
And what kind of addictions do people come with? Is it just drug and alcohol, or is there other addictions? What kind of clients do you attract?
We specialize in alcohol and stimulant use when it comes to substances, but we also see a lot of gambling addicts in our facility as well. And I believe that's what we are best suited to cater for. Obviously there are other addictions such as opioids and other demographics such as forensic clients. We're probably one of the only rehabs in Australia that is forensic free. Where we want to focus on the people who are putting their hand up themselves and want that help.
And what's the 5I program, and how did you come up with it?
I think from the inception of our facility, we had a lot of advice around how to do recovery.
Yes.
And it was coming from an angle of people who had, like 20, 30 years of experience in the field. And most of them were advising us against what we believed we should do.
And what do you believe you should do?
I believe we should be accountable for people's results and outcomes. I believe that treatment of addiction should not be all about the person, and it should not be, if we fail, that's on you. Or if we didn't do our best and you didn't, achieve the long-term sustainable recovery, that's on you.
So you take more responsibility.
Absolutely.
Oh wow, that's a really different
for
approach.
a facility, it's very important that as clinicians, we take ultimate responsibility for the clients, the guests, the patients that participate in the program. And I think the scapegoat of going to and seeing that the patient is failing is not doing them justice, nor the industry itself.
Yeah, I love that, because that is a very different approach. And was it through your own experiences that you came up with that?
Absolutely, but also not being a part of that industry for a long time allows for open-mindedness, right? So when we came into it, we weren't really entrenched into thinking that everything that was to be discovered is already discovered and everything that could be done is already done. We came in with a really open mind, and we looked at things that work and looked at the things that don't, and it seemed like all of the advice was to replicate the things that don't work. And internally we kind of sat there and we thought, okay, how many times do we need to do this to prove that it's not going to be any different? Why don't we try the approach that's not a industry standard?
Yeah, because usually, Ed, I've heard that you, in most rehabs, they restrict your phone, they restrict contact with people. Do you do the same thing at yours?
No. It's 2024, and I think we need to keep up with the times. And creating this cliff edge approach where we restrict you, we don't treat you like adults, we'll take away electronic devices, you're not allowed contact with the outside world, you're not allowed to be in touch with your own business. The realistic approach is after 28 days, 42 days, 90 days, however long you're in the facility, you could be facing different challenges like anxiety or bankrupt, right? You're like, so we don't want that. We have a certain clientele that we cater for, CEOs, executives, athletes, actors, and to cut them off to the outside world is not going to be not practical at all. So we encourage it. They have a little office and a desk set up in our newest facility. We're looking at building a business centre for them as well, so they can get the rehabilitation that they need, but also the ability to stay connected.
You might end up with a housing estate.
But I think, like, in the end of the day, our role and the responsibility that we're taking for the client is not to create this safe bubble where they can exist clean and sober. Our role is to prepare them to leave from the first day they enter the facility, which means that, like, their family's not going away, and their business is not going away, and their responsibilities are not going away. It's our job to teach them how to have a better relationship.
What's the success rate, and what's the feedback that you've had from clients?
Great.
Yeah, I think we definitely sit head and shoulders above the industry standard, which is about 3 people out of 100 who undergo a rehabilitation program, remain clean and sober 3 years post.
3 out of 100?
Yes, I believe that the research that was conducted in 2016 concluded that it's about 3 people out of 100.
Wow.
And the reason why most of them fail, and programs can be quite extensive, right? They can be in a facility for 6 months.
Yeah, and what are your stats?
I believe about 66% of people who have been through our program remain clean and sober. And they might, so we don't say that, having a lapse means failure, right? Like, we're talking about long-term sustained recovery. And right now we have a number of people who have been through our program 4 years ago, 3 years ago now, who are now obtained education, who return to work in the field, who reach out to us from, a place where they have their family members who they have helped, right? So it's a ripple effect, right? Like, of people who have been through our program and what they're doing in the world now to pass the gift of recovery on.
That's so good. Do you find that some people, once they've recovered from one substance, do you ever find that people then swap it for something else?
Absolutely, but I think the way that 5 program is designed, right? Like, we don't look at what the addiction is. we answer the question of why.
Why? Okay.
Why do you need this substance or this behavior or this pathological relationship? What are you trying to run away from? What are you trying to numb?
Yes.
So we focus a lot on the root causes.
On the root causes. That's really interesting. That's brilliant. So you've got 2 rehab centres at the moment,
yep.
and they're both in Victoria.
Both in Victoria, both up in Dandenong Ranges, yep.
And there's plans for a third, I hear?
The third one is definitely well on its way, again up in the Dandenong Ranges, beautiful space in Sassafras, and that will be opening in September. So really looking forward to that, and that's going to be our biggest. It's going to be a new approach as well, so individual dwellings, so they get their own private cottages, has a natural Linda Spring running through the property, there's horse stables, the whole lot. It's going to be something that the industry hasn't seen before, especially in Victoria.
And what would you say to somebody that's kind of sitting on the fence, that they don't know whether they've got an addiction, they might have been told that they've got an addiction, but they don't think it themselves? What kind of signs should you be looking for? Why should they pick up the phone?
So I think this is kind of the philosophy that we have, like around our team, and our facilitators get that quite well, is that addiction is probably the only illness that you would wait until you hit the rock bottom to get it addressed, right? Like when someone finds out that they have, cancer cells somewhere in their liver, they don't wait for 2 or 3 years to see a specialist.
Yeah.
Right? Like we believe that the most effective treatment really and the most sustainable recovery for someone can be achieved when they haven't lost their family, when they haven't lost their business, when they're not out on the street.
Early intervention.
Absolutely, because they need something to recover for. So when your loved ones are noticing the signs or your colleagues are noticing the signs, I think what prevents people from reaching out for help is this self-stigma of like, oh, I'm not like one of those people, or I'm not that bad.
Yeah, functioning.
Absolutely. And what we want to encourage people to see is that, hey, like, first of all, it's not your fault. It is an actual medical illness that can be addressed. That doesn't have to mean anything, like for who you are. And this is what we're here for, right? Like we're here to help functioning addicts and alcoholics to maintain sustainable long-term recovery and to be their best selves.
Excellent. So congratulations both. You really are making a difference to so many people's lives. Very, very impressive.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much
Thanks for having
coming
us
on the show.
Thanks for having us.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addictions, you can call the national hotline on 1800 250 015. In the Driver's Seat has been brought to you by the Perfect Cosmetics Company. Join me next time to learn more from industry legends about how you can take the wheel and steer your life in the right direction.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.